H&S Collectibles. This is Cody. So I'm doing another tag video. This is the John Carpenter tag, started by Sean Erschen, and I got tagged by Dave over at David's Horror. I got links below to both. Several people have done this tag, from what I can see, and I haven't watched any of those videos yet because I didn't want it to influence any of my answers. But definitely go check them out. I think Jen's Reviews in the Grave did one. I think Andrew Ballin has done one, and some others as well. But 10 questions, real quick. I'm going to kind of breeze through them because you've all heard me talk about Carpenter before, and what a fan I am. But favorite John Carpenter score. There's a lot of them I love. There's a lot of them I have, but I'm going to have to go with The Fog. The Fog is just one that I can play through and play multiple times. It comes up a lot in my playlist. So most underrated John Carpenter film, I'm going to say In the Mouth of Madness. That's just one that I think of all the Carpenter movies I talk to people about, that's the one that comes up the most as something they say, well, I haven't seen that one. I'll ask if they've seen it, or I suggest it and they haven't seen it. And I do think it's one of his better movies, and definitely one of the more underrated ones. Scariest scene in a John Carpenter film. So this one's troubling to me for a few different reasons. One, things really don't scare me anymore, so I have to think back to a time of when they did. And then the one answer that I might come up with, I don't know if I count as a John Carpenter movie because he didn't direct it, but it's Halloween 2. He wrote it, he scored it with Howarth, but he didn't direct it, so I hesitate to include that one. But I think what I'll probably go with again is The Fog, and in particular when Blake and his men get on the seagrass. There's shapes moving in the fog. The guys can't see anything. They're getting attacked. And that music is playing, so it's a very tense, very frightening scene, I think, especially when I was at a younger age. And the Halloween 2 scene I was going to say was pretty much from the time Michael kills the marshal till he gets into the operating room. Just that whole stalking scene down the hallway, through the halls, through the doors. That always really scared me, I guess, when I was a kid. Most suspenseful scene in a John Carpenter film. So just watched it last weekend at the theater, but I'm going to say The Thing and The Blood Test. Even sitting in the theater watching it, and I've seen it 1,000 times, and just waiting for what's about to happen. So that is a great suspenseful scene. Number 5, favorite non-horror movie by John Carpenter. Pretty easy pick for me. I gotta go with Escape from New York. Love Kurt Russell. Love Snake Plissken. I love the dystopian future where things got so bad that they would turn New York into a prison, and just how bleak the outlook was of the movie. I enjoy those, science fiction, dystopian future kind of movies. Really appeal to me. Number 6, will Michael Myers ever die? So looking at this from a couple of different aspects. One, I think Carpenter's involvement with him. I know I've seen interviews with Carpenter where he didn't want to do any sequels, so I think if you asked Carpenter that question, he would probably tell you no, evil never dies. He's always out there. He's always stalking you. He's always, right there about to get you. From a franchise point of view, though, the actual character, I don't think he'll ever die as long as there's profit to be made, as long as there's a return on these movies. But then I think the appeal to the fans too. So at least in the hearts of the fans, I don't think Myers will ever die. we go to see these movies, and I think there's a certain part of us that kind of roots for the boogeyman too. Without him, you wouldn't have a movie. Which number 7? Which John Carpenter film has the best spooky atmosphere? And again, you're going to hear this one a few times. The Fog. I think The Fog has about the best atmosphere of any of his movies. You've got the music, you've got just the cinematography, the setup of the shots. You've got the howl of the wind. You've got the foghorn in the background as part of the music. It's just a very haunting, very spooky story, and one of the best ghost stories ever, in my opinion. I'd probably also give it up to The Thing for a similar way it's done, just the way it's shot, and particularly the sound design, the wind howling outside, the roar of the snowstorm. Everything's claustrophobic indoors. You're either trapped indoors with it, or if you go outside, you're going to die of exposure. So that movie's got a good atmosphere too. Excuse me. What is the worst John Carpenter film? So again, just looking at movies that he was the director of, I'm going to say A Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I just did not really enjoy that movie. I think I mostly blame it on Chevy Chase and not John Carpenter. And it's not that I'm not a Chevy Chase fan. I like the Lampoon movies and comedies and stuff that he's in. I just didn't really care for him in that role, and just never really got into that movie. If John Carpenter came back to direct a sequel, what should it be? I got a couple here. One, I always wanted to see a sequel to Christine, because the car is not dead at the end of the movie. And I thought maybe she could come back later to get the kids, that crushed her. I would love to see maybe not a sequel, but a halfway prequel, Escape from Cleveland. There's so many references in Escape from LA to what happened to Snake in Cleveland, that I think you could do a midway movie that's between New York and between LA and show us what happened to Snake. But then probably The Thing too. I mean, pick up on it. What happened to Kurt Russell and McCready? Or not Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell and Childs, Keith David. I know there's a couple of Dark Horse comic book series that continue it on, and a rescue team comes and they get infected, and McCready tests himself and he's good, and Childs shows back up. So those are 2 or 3 answers to that. Then number 10, the last one, does John Carpenter have one last great film in him? I would think yes. I think that he is a director who can take the politics of the day and make a statement with it, make a film out of it, make something that gets you thinking. In particular, I think of They Live, for Carpenter's ability to take and make a commentary on culture and politics. And I think there's a lot to comment on right now. And I think he would have that in him. Now, would he want to? Probably not. Carpenter, I think, judging from the interviews with him and discussions I've seen with him, is just kind of burnt out on the whole studio system, and there's no real independent film community left like what he grew up in. I think now it's all test audiences, and if a movie doesn't make $1 billion in its opening weekend, it's considered a commercial flop now. I think that's why we have nothing but superhero movies and big summer blockbusters year-round. Not to say there hasn't been some good movies come out, but I think just the landscape is different, and I think he doesn't want anything to do with it. But I see no reason why he wouldn't have one good one left in him. So that's it. That's the tag video. I think I kept it to around 10 minutes. So anyway, below will be Sean and Dave's info. Go click on it. Go check out their video. See what they answered. And that's it for me for now. So everybody stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.